Well, hello, and my apologies. I had a little couple of technical glitches this evening. I'm just trying to get things fired up, as one does, and as a result, I've had some complications here and there. Not a big deal. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm just trying to get the feeds lined up. Anyway, one second. Apologies. Had to clear my throat there. So, I am actually in good headspace at this very moment, which is a surprise to me because, quite frankly, I did not expect that. Um, in all honesty, earlier today, sorry, needed to clear my throat. Earlier today, I was struggling. Um, it was it had to do with I had severe back pain this morning. I couldn't do my political show. I could barely walk. I could barely move. I was not pleasant. And as the day went on, I decided I would use my TENS machine, which, for those of you who don't know, is like electronic stimulators. You put these little sticky pads on the place where it hurts, and you run this machine, and you can adjust the intensity. And I crank the intensity up really high. And I'm not going to lie, it worked. It worked well. It worked incredibly well. I mean, it took a little, I ramped it up. As I cranked up the intensity, it was a little intense, to say the least. But as time moved on, it did its thing. And they say you're not supposed to use it for more than 60 minutes. I used it for a couple of hours. Here's the thing. I was in so much pain today that I was that close to going to emerge, or ER for my American friends. I was that close, and knowing full well that I would sit there for hours in more pain because it's all about triage, and I wasn't bleeding out or having a heart attack or anything of that nature, and I'm not going to lie about those things. If you go into an ER and you say you have heart palpitations or chest pains, they rush you in right away. Somebody said that's a way to get ahead of the line. I'm like, yeah, but what if I'm taking the place of somebody who needs that spot, and that person perishes as a result of my selfishness? So I came to the conclusion that that's not a shortcut that I will ever take. No matter how much pain I'm in, unless I'm having a heart attack or bleeding out, I'm not playing that card. I'm a lot of things, but a selfish asshole isn't one of them. Or at least I'd like to think so anyway. So I had a rough day. Was not a productive morning. I didn't do my political show, and I didn't get any work done. I just tried to focus and get through the pain. And then I started a course at 12:30. It ran from 12:30 to 4:30, and it will every day this week. And it was good. It felt good to be back and be a part of something again. From a professional standpoint, it felt like I had a purpose again. Now, I mean, it's a course, so it doesn't translate to income. However, it gives me a renewed sense of purpose. And because of that, I think that it will help motivate me to pursue some of the avenues that I've been presented. I'm trying to be vague here because I can't get into too much of what it is about, but yeah, I think I have a good opportunity ahead of me. We'll see. There's no income right now because it's a commission-only sales position, business development. But being a part of something again makes me feel like I can pursue something, if that makes any sense. Having a glass of Jackson Triggs Merlot. Very nice, actually. It's a very nice Ontario wine. I like Niagara wines. I like California wines, New Zealand, Australian, South African. Yeah, I love the South African wines. Um, and of course French wines, but the French wines that we get here in North America, if unless they're outrageously expensive, most of them are not drinkable by French standards. To be honest with you, there's a few. Chateauneuf de Pape is always reasonable. Fat Bastard's pretty good. Chateau Latour, if I could afford a bottle, yeah, I probably wouldn't spend the money on it. Even if I could afford it at like 950 euros. Actually, I think it's more than that now. I'm not even sure. But the way I see it is if it's that expensive, it can't be that great. Like, what's it going to do for 950 euros? Is it going to, I don't know, improve my life? It's wine. I like wine, but let's be realistic here. That being said, some of the best wines I ever had were the €3 house red in some of the cafes I sat in Paris many years ago. I haven't been back in a while. I'm overdue for a Parisian trip, and hopefully, if things go according to plan, I can take Bridget there in the near future. But we shall see, right? We shall see. But I'd recommend, if you're looking for a good wine, you don't need to spend a ton of money. If you're in France, that is. Just get the house red in any cafe, and it will be spectacular. Most of what they export is things they wouldn't drink. And I've heard that from a lot of French people. even, as a matter of fact, a woman I used to dragon boat with who immigrated to Canada from France, and her family owned a vineyard. She made wine growing up. But then she finished university and just went, yeah, I'm moving to Canada. And they went, what? She goes, well, a lot of people speak French there. The culture is similar to ours in, certain parts of Quebec. She lives here in Ottawa, mind you, but Quebec is right next door. And she has a job working for the federal government. So good for her. Awesome woman. I can't remember her name at the moment. But she was a good teammate, and I remember a few years ago met her with a group of her friends from France watching France play in the World Cup final. We were in the patio at Lieutenant's Pump. Of course, hot summer. This is pre-pandemic. So when was that? 2016? Maybe? I guess. Wow, time flies. Yeah, it must have been 2016. Anyway, we'd had peripheral conversations, if you will, about, dragon boating and the sport and how much we both loved it, and it's a good team and blah 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 blah. Anyway, when I literally bumped into her on the patio with her group of her friends, I'm like, hey, how's it going? Just had a nice chat. She's like, yeah. And I didn't know this prior to that moment, that she grew up in a vineyard. And she said, the thing about wine, Paul, is it's very subjective. Just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's good. And just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's bad. Each person can decide for themselves. She said, we have an exclusive vineyard, and, the family has lots of money, but I didn't want to do that, so I left. What was her name? It's going to drive me nuts. Anyway. Yeah, it's neither here nor there, but yeah, this is a nice Ontario wine, Niagara. It's Jackson Triggs. Check it out if you can. And no, Bridget, I didn't tell you that I was ready to go to emerge because I didn't want to upset you or panic you. That's why I didn't tell you. But I was in that much pain this morning. I'm much better now. The TENS machine does a miracle. And when I finish this, I'm going to go lie down again and put it back on and run it really high. Because it did a miracle on my back today, and I'm thankful and grateful for that. Now, all of that being said, I honestly didn't know, like I had committed to doing this, so it's like, okay, I'll do a show, but I don't know how I'm going to be able to talk. I don't know how I'm going to be able to function because I was in so much pain earlier. And then as, time moved on, that machine did its miracle trick to me. I took Lola out for a nice walk. And I stopped in, like I said, at the pub and I bumped into a friend who told me she was going through the same things I've been going through. And you can call it a case of misery loves company if you wish, but I don't think that's what it is. I honestly think when you share with somebody who is going through the same thing you are, someone who is feeling the same way you do, I think when you share that with someone, the first time anyway, they feel comforted by the fact that someone else understands what they feel. And in turn, in the future, are open to sharing with you how they're feeling at the time. And there's somewhat of a kinship, if you will. I don't know if anybody watching or listening or taking part has ever done group therapy. I was not a proponent of it before I did it. I honestly, there was a part of me that probably thought it was a bit of hogwash. But when I did group therapy for the first time, I didn't speak up the first session. I just sort of took it in. And by the third session, you couldn't shut me up. I think largely because I felt comfortable with the group of people I was with, knowing that we were all going through the same thing. And you can say misery loves company, and I suppose there is some truth to that, but the way I see it is this. When you are feeling the depths of despair that are just beyond your capabilities of continuing, when you can talk to somebody else who's going through the same thing, well, that changes your perspective, it changes your view, it changes the way you think and the way you hope and the way you dream. It changes who you are and how you are. It gives you the ability to see beyond yourself. It grants you permission to be emotionally naked, where you can express all of the things that you're feeling and feel safe to do so. Because let's face it, when it comes to mental health, anxiety, depression, very few of us are capable of expressing what we're feeling when we're feeling it. I'm guilty of that too. When I'm in the midst of it, I just want it to stop. I don't want to talk about it because it's all I can think about. So it's like, please distract me from this noise. So that when I am capable, when it gets quiet in my head and I'm capable, I will talk to you. I will tell you what I'm going through, what I'm feeling and how I'm feeling, which is the reason this show exists. And some nights I've come on here and been in a desperate situation, not healthy, not prepared to do this. I've literally had to pull myself up off the couch and come and sit in this chair in the studio and chat with you wonderful people. And I've found that every single time I do it, it makes me feel better. because it's group therapy. And like I said, group therapy it's a godsend. Whether or not you believe in higher power is up to you. I don't judge, I don't care, I don't ask. And I'm not going to tell you what my thoughts on that are, okay? But here's the thing. Having the ability to share what you're feeling with a group of people who are feeling pretty much the same thing makes you feel safe, makes you feel comforted. Moreover, more than anything else in the world, and this is what is key, it makes you feel like you belong, like you're not alone, like you're not drifting out in space on your own, trying to figure it out. You have community. Community makes you feel better about yourself. And that's where I stand on that. Never thought I would believe in group therapy until I went through it, and now I'm a staunch supporter thereof. And the funny thing, ironic thing, odd thing, I don't know how to quantify it, but I talked to some friends who are a few years older, and some who are younger, but have never considered therapy, let alone group therapy, and I told them the profound change it had on me. And they went, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, man. I was able to share what I was going through with people who were going through the same thing, and there's something comforting about it. Knowing that someone else out there knows what you're going through. The circumstances are different, of course, but the emotions, the feelings of emptiness, loneliness, despair, the never-ending anxiety that just, it's like a hamster wheel in your head. Yeah, we get it. You're not alone. I know you feel like you're alone. You feel like you're alone more than you ever have in your life. But you're not. There is a community of us out here who want you to be and feel better. I'm one of them. I want you to feel better. I want you to be better. I want you to feel love. I want you to feel happiness. I want you to not feel anger all the time. Look, you can be the happiest person on earth, but there's moments when you're going to have feelings of anger, sadness, and despair. That's being human. But with depression and anxiety, you feel it almost all the time. Medication helps, but it's not a cure. It's a treatment. And I'm seeking a cure. I think this can help a lot of people. At least I hope it does. I hope folks out there who are feeling lost and alone and suffering, like there's nobody there who cares about you. I hope you know that I do care. And I want you to know that I will help you in whatever way I can. I'm a man of limited financial means, so I can't give you money. I don't have a income right now. I have a job, but it's a commission-only position, so until I make a sale, there's no income for me. That's why that QR code is there, so if you're feeling a little generous and want to help out, I'd really appreciate it. But I can be a sounding board. I can be somebody you can talk to. I can be somebody you can reach out to. I can be somebody you can lean on when you need to lean on somebody. And it doesn't have to be a group chat. If you really need to talk to me, you can reach me. Just send me an email to my ASMR YouTube channel here. I'll have to look it up because I don't know what it is. Sorry. I know, pretty lame, right? But I'm a busy guy, despite the fact that I'm not working as much as I used to. I'm still quite busy. And nevertheless, what I'm trying to say is I just want to help as many people as I can. Because I know what it's like to feel lost and alone and empty and in a state of despair and anxiety where your mind won't stop reeling. And all you want to do is just quiet your mind. And that's the thing, quiet your mind. Because when you're in the state of despair, your mind just won't stop reeling. And you can't shut it down. The thing about depression versus anxiety is with depression, it's terrible. You're physically exhausted. You can't get out of bed. You just want the pain to stop. Anxiety is the opposite. In many ways, it's the opposite. Your heart is racing. Your mind is racing. You feel like you've had 19 cups of coffee and you can't slow down. But you can't leave the house. It's not agoraphobia. It's anxiety. It won't let you go out because you're thinking 100 different ways why going out would be bad. Or reaching out would be bad. Or calling somebody would be bad. Or. And I want you to know, it's all a lie. It's your brain chemistry playing tricks on you. Why is this what it is? I don't know. Why do we shoulder this burden? I have no idea. Did I do something as a child that brought this on? I don't know. I can't tell you when this happened. I can tell you my moment when it cracked. I can tell you the moment when the depression became a real thing for me and the anxiety became overwhelming. But I didn't want people to think I was crazy. So I hid it for decades. And here's the thing. I didn't even know what I was hiding. I just remember thinking, well, that's not a clear thought. Don't tell anybody about that. They'll think you're nuts. They'll lock you up. They'll throw you in the loony bin. And that was how we thought throughout the 80s and 90s. Things began to change, thankfully. But that was the thought process for a very long time. It's a better world we're in right now in many ways. In many other ways, it's like, why are we have people trying to take us back to the 1940s? Not getting political. We all know what I'm talking about. I'm not making any commentary on it, okay? But that adds to the depression and the anxiety. When you begin to worry about what is this world going to be like for my nieces, my nephews. Many of you have children and you're wondering what this world is going to be like for them. And your anxiety kicks in and your depression takes over. And you don't want to get out of bed, but you don't have a choice because you have loved ones that depend on you. A spouse, a partner, a child, a dog. You have people who need you. So you figure out a way to tough through it, stick around. And that was my life for decades. I didn't have dependents, I didn't have pets, but I knew that there were people who would be harmed if I left. So I chose to stay. And sometimes it was a difficult decision, I'm not going to lie. To say otherwise would be dishonest, and I will never be dishonest with you. All that being said, I'm in a better place now than I've ever been, despite the fact that every now and then I have bad days. My bad days used to be plenty. Now they're slim. And I am, admittedly, going through something right now as I came to a realization a few months back about something that happened in my life that had a profound effect on me. I'm not getting into it. Some things are private. Suffice to say, I'm working through it, and I will be better someday. And I know that. And I keep looking forward to the sunshine. I know that the sunshine is coming. It's figuratively, right? You get that? I'm speaking figuratively. Anyway, I'm going to toast you. Salute. And I think it's about time I wrap up, because I try and keep this to 30 minutes roughly. I could go on for a long time this evening because I do have a lot on my mind. However, I do have other projects that need to be tended to. I have 1 book I have to finish narrating and 2 that I have to get started. So hopefully I can create some revenue from that. And as that new chapter of my life begins to take off, and there's a part of me that still has to grapple with the fact that people are interested in what I'm doing and want to hear what I have to, not necessarily what I have to say, but they want to hear my voice, speak their words. There's a bit of an emotional struggle with that. Trying to understand that somebody out there somewhere thinks you're pretty good at what you do and would like to pay you to do it. And that, so, I'm good at a lot of things, and I've been paid to do good work for a lot of the things that I do. Doing this and getting paid to do it is different, though, because it's deeply personal. It's my voice, which I imagine is how actors must feel. It's deeply personal. Because you don't want, if you're like me, that is, and you have anxiety, you are always concerned about letting somebody down. You want to do a good job so that they will be satisfied and happy, so you will do your best and you will do multiple takes until you get it right, and you hope that it's satisfactory. And that's all I just want to be satisfactory. I want you to be happy with the work that I give you. So spinning my head about that one, somebody actually wants to hear me do this and is excited to have me work on their project, their deeply personal project, which is very heartfelt because it's their project. It's the book they wrote, and I auditioned. They loved my interpretation of their book, because it's not just reading, it's acting. And I just want to do a good job. That's all. Anyway, I got all over the map this evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you for spending time with me. If you find this at all helpful, please feel free to share this with anybody who you think may enjoy an evening of my rambling, may find it therapeutic or helpful. So if you want to share, feel free. Share with anybody you want. The whole purpose of this is to help those who need it. Period. That's it. That's all. Check your religion, check your politics, check your biases at the door. You have a mental health issue, come on in. Let's talk about it. I sincerely, genuinely mean that. Because here's the thing. Hurt people, right? We all know this. So let's take the hurt away. So that someday, hopefully, a lot less people are hurt. take care. Wherever you are in this world, I hope you are feeling good. I hope you're happy. And I hope to see you very soon.